Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be talking about death. No, not that death. I mean this death. That one. Death was one of the bands that defined the death metal genre. I mean, just look at the name. It was named after them. How good do you have to be to have a whole genre of music named after you? If you open your official Metalhead textbooks, page 66, chapter 6.5, you would see that Chuck Schuldiner is the pinnacle of metalhead evolution. This book was approved by Lord Lemmy himself and is infallible and accurate in every way, shape, and form. The band has changed the lineup a lot of times over the years. You could say that Chuck Schuldiner was the band. Chuck died in 2001 from cancer. His final contribution to death was the album Sound of Perseverance in 1998, which is considered to be the best album in the entire discography of Death. But today we won't be looking at Sound of Perseverance. Today we'll be looking at Individual Thought Patterns. It was released in 1993, following their previous album, Human, from 1991. It had Steve DiGiorgio returning on bass guitar, Gene Holgan from Testament on drums, and Andy LaRocca from King Diamond on guitars. And of course Chuck on vocals and guitar. Individual is much more progressive and technical than its predecessor, and it also has much more emphasis on Steve DiGiorgio's fretless bass guitar. Now let's get to the album itself. The album is just over 40 minutes long and it consists of 10 tracks. Overactive Imagination, Inhuman Form, Jealousy, Trapped in a Corner, Nothing is Everything, Mentally Blind, Individual Thought Patterns, Destiny, Out of Touch, and The Philosopher. The first track on the album, Overactive Imagination, starts off really fast. I mean, it just opens the album on an explosive note. This track catches you off guard and just throws you into this amazing piece that's incredibly well written and incredibly performed by the entire band. The album closes on its 10th track, The Philosopher. It's not as fast as the first track, but it really compensates for that lack of speed with its powerful riffs, incredible bass solo at the end, and amazing songwriting. Now let's get to the topic of songwriting. The lyrics focus on critiquing social norms and human nature in general. They have Chuck's style written all over them. They don't tell you their message directly, rather they present you with a sort of situation that the people in the songs are facing or are causing, as is the point with Trapped in a Corner and Mentally Blind. And of course Chuck's personal point of view of said situation. Now this is just how I see it. You may interpret it differently, of course. That is just how art works. It presents you with something and it's your job to interpret it in your own way, as long as you stick to the message that the writer of said song is trying to convey. And now let's get to the music. This album took the sound from Human and expanded it much further. And the band was not really shy to experiment on this one. And this style has become synonymous with the band after this album. The music on this album sounds really good. And these solos are spot on and they are noticeably different from Chuck's, which is a good thing. You can hear them both on the track Trapped in a Corner. Their solos go right after another and they work beautifully together. Steve's bass work is also fantastic. He plays fretless, so it gives the album that much more of that progressive feel. It really shows that he is an incredibly talented musician that was a perfect choice for this sort of album. Gene Holgan's drum work is also excellent. His drums add a lot to the progressive and technical feel of this album. It's really difficult to describe it, you'll just have to hear it for yourselves. And now we get to the vocals. They haven't changed much since the previous album, and that's not a bad thing at all. They are still very powerful and very aggressive, and they are also comprehensive enough for any non-death metal fan to enjoy. Now you might be asking yourself, why are you telling me this? Is this relevant for the review of this album? Well, kind of. You see, some people are repulsed by the growling in death metal. They are repulsed from the genre itself just because of the vocals, because they can't understand what the vocalist is growling. That is not the case with death. Chuck's growls are comprehensive enough for any non-death metal fan to enjoy properly without, looking into the booklet or on the internet for the lyrics. Of course, sometimes, yes, you cannot really understand it from the get-go, but with time, you just get used to it and it becomes normal. You shouldn't be discouraged from listening to death metal if you are a metal fan. Uh, you are missing out on a very big genre here. Now, I'm not saying that you should, right now go and listen to death metal. It's your choice, but keep in mind that vocals shouldn't repulse you from listening to music that you might like in the future. Now let's get back to Chuck Schuldiner vocal. On this album, he's still using the technique of, growling. He will later change it into screaming vocals on Sound of Perseverance. The album after this one, Symbolic, is the sort of crossing over to the screaming vocals type of album. You will hear that his vocals will veer more towards the screaming aspect rather than the previous album's growls. Now let's talk about the disc itself. And let's start with the artwork. The artwork was done by artist René Miville, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's a sort of surreal picture of a skull above a planet with the logo of the band and the title of the album in bright pink lettering. The artwork has a strong emphasis on the color brown all around. René has done the artwork on Human and on Symbolic as well. The artwork style really emphasizes the music style of the album, in my honest opinion. Now, this case that I have has 2 discs in it. One of them is the album itself. The other one is a bonus disc. It has the Live in Germany from April 13th, 1993. Live performance, of course. And it also has the cover of the song from the band Possessed, The Exorcist. That's the title of the song. It contains a booklet inside. It has the song lyrics and some letters from the band members, including Chuck, and also some funny anecdotes from Gene Holgan from the recording of the album. The disc has a black finish with Death's logo and the name of the album, the logo of Relapse Records, who did the remaster. The sound quality is good. That is something that I should say. The black finish on the disc has a sort of reflective part on it. I don't know if you could see it. Around the central hole of the disc. It's a really nice aesthetic. So that's it for the case of the CD. And that's it for the album. My advice, you should go and get it. This one is from 2011. I think that's the release from Relapse Records. The price is about maybe 10 to 15 euros depending on where you live and all that stuff. I paid it around 15, I think, when I was in Austria. So yeah. So yeah, pick it up. And also, if you want, pick up some other albums from Death. My personal favorite and personal recommendation is, of course, Sound of Perseverance. That album is their magnum opus. That's it for this video. If you want to, subscribe, leave a comment and or a suggestion of what my next video should be. And I will see you next time.